When people talk about Chevrolet's legendary V8 engines, most instantly think of the 327, the 350, or even the modern LS. But few know that it was actually the little brother, the Chevy 283, that marked a true turning point, laying the foundation for a powerful small block dynasty that lasted for decades. Introduced in 1957, the 283 wasn't just an upgrade from the original 265 cubic inch V8. It was also the first production American engine to achieve 1 horsepower per cubic inch, a groundbreaking feat for its time. Yet today, the name Chevy 283 seems to be gradually fading into obscurity, even though it once powered iconic machines like the Corvette, the Bel Air, and a whole generation of legendary hot rods. What made this little engine deliver such a massive impact? And why has a symbol like the 283 been overshadowed by the younger V8s that followed? Let's dive into the full story behind this legendary engine. Let's go back to the mid-1950s. America was entering a booming automotive era, with manufacturers racing to build cars that were faster, sleeker, and more accessible than ever. Chevrolet, determined to become the king of affordable performance, launched the 265 cubic inch V8 in 1955, a bold move that kicked off the small block revolution. But just 2 years later, they were ready for more. In 1957, Chevrolet introduced the 283 cubic inch V8. It shared the same basic architecture as the 265, but featured a larger bore, increasing displacement, allowing it to produce more horsepower without significantly increasing its size or weight. What made 1957 even more remarkable was the debut of the ramjet fuel injection system, offered on the top-end version of the 283. This was a bombshell, not just for American cars, but for the world. For the first time ever, a mass-market production engine achieved a 1 horsepower per cubic inch ratio, 283 horsepower from 283 cubic inches. That alone earned the 283rd a place in automotive history, a defining milestone in Chevrolet's small block 5.8 revolution. But what truly made the 283 unforgettable wasn't just the records it set, but the way it was engineered. Simple, efficient, and ready for anyone willing to unlock the full potential of a compact V8. The 283 featured a traditional 90-degree V8 configuration, with a bore of 3.875 inches and a stroke of 3.00 inches, giving it exactly 283 cubic inches, around 4.6 liters. This made for a perfect balance: quick revving, efficient combustion, and low internal stress. Compression ratios ranged from 8.5 to 1 to 10.5 to 1, depending on the variant, making it compatible with both regular and premium fuel. Its clean, rugged design made it one of the most trouble-free engines GM ever built. Chevrolet offered multiple configurations: base versions with 2-barrel carburetors made between 185 to 220 horsepower. 4-barrel versions boosted output to 230 to 250 horsepower, popular in higher-end Impalas and Corvettes, and the most iconic, the 283 Fuelie, using the ramjet fuel injection system to hit 283 horsepower, matching its cubic inch, the first American production engine to do so. However, the Fuelie wasn't easy. Controlled by mechanical sensors, vacuum, and pressure, it was advanced for its time, but complex and expensive. Many owners eventually swapped it for traditional carburetors. What's incredible is how much power the 283 could unlock with the right mods: upgraded heads, performance cams, high-flow carbs and headers could push output past 300 horsepower. It also became a favorite for stroker builds, especially the 301 cubic inch variant, widely used in drag and street racing. The 283 wasn't just an engine, it was a launch pad, a foundation for the many legendary small block Chevys that followed. And that's exactly why, by the late 1950s, the 283 had already carved out a solid place in the worlds of racing and hot rodding. It didn't need to be the biggest, just the right hands, and this little engine could do big things. In drag racing, especially in gasser and superstock classes, the 283 was often stroked to 301 cubic inches using a 327 crank and oversized pistons. The result? A high-revving, strong-spinning engine with a screaming exhaust note that enthusiasts still remember to this day. Thanks to its lightweight and simple design, the 283 also saw frequent use in local oval track racing and lightweight NASCAR divisions. While it didn't go head-to-head with monsters like the 409 or 427, in its class, it was a go-to choice. Reliable, easy to tune, and a solid performer. What really set the 283 apart was its exceptional modding flexibility. You didn't need a fat wallet, just good heads, a performance cam, a big carb, MSD ignition, and open headers to turn it into a beast. And those builds, from backyard projects to track weapons, helped carve out the legend of this compact little powerhouse, a legend that didn't end at the track or in a garage. Because the 283 wasn't just a fleeting success, it laid the foundation for an entire generation of Chevrolet small block engines that would carry on for decades. After the 283 debuted, Chevrolet rolled out new variants like the 327, 350, and 400, all built on the 283's core principles: compact size, strong performance, and endless mod potential. Without the 283, the legendary small block ecosystem we know today might never have existed. GM engineers have acknowledged that the 283's engineering lessons, short stroke design, optimal bore-stroke ratio, compact casting, and compatibility with a variety of cylinder heads set the blueprint for many modern V8s. Even today, in the vintage car and hot rod communities, the 283 is held in high regard. Many enthusiasts still seek out original 283 blocks to restore classic hot rods or to build old-school street machines, compact, refined, yet full of punch. For Chevrolet, the 283 wasn't just a milestone. It was the beginning of engineering standards they would carry forward for decades. And that's exactly why, behind this seemingly simple engine, lie fascinating stories and technical details that not everyone knows. In 1957, Chevrolet developed a special version of the 283 exclusively for police and government fleets. This variant featured a 4-barrel carburetor, a mild performance camshaft, and an upgraded cooling system, delivering higher performance while maintaining the durability required for demanding service. Another fun fact: the 283 was the base for the unofficial 301 stroker engine, a popular setup in 1960s drag racing. Hot rodders combined a 327 crankshaft with oversized pistons to increase stroke, creating a small but high-revving, powerful engine. Though GM never mass-produced this combo, 301 stroker became legendary on the strip. Also, if you happen to own a 1957 Corvette equipped with an original 283 Fuelie, you're sitting on a gold mine. These cars, featuring the ramjet fuel injection system and 283 horsepower, from 283 cubic inches can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's collector market. And perhaps most surprising of all, many original 283 blocks are still being rebuilt and driven today by the hands of enthusiasts. No sensors, no ECUs, just pure mechanical genius and a timeless passion for performance. And yet it's ironic that the engine that launched the small block era slowly faded from the spotlight. Why is it that the 283rd, a quiet legend, is rarely mentioned alongside its louder successors? Part of the reason is that the 283rd retired too early. When the 327 appeared in 1962 and the 350 took over by the late 60s, higher horsepower and larger displacement made the 283 seem too small by comparison. It was overshadowed by the very engines it had made possible. Also, the 283rd never carried the aura of a muscle car hero. It wasn't found in Chevelle SS's, Camaro Z/28s, or dragstrip Novas. Instead, it lived quietly under the hoods of early Bel Airs, Impalas, and first-generation Corvettes, cars that became less visible to younger generations. Time, too, was unkind. The people who raced and built with the 283 grew older. The cars that used it became rare. And like so many things in American car culture, when they disappear from the streets, they disappear from conversation. But to those who truly understand mechanical greatness, the 283 was never outdated. It was the foundation, the beginning, a quiet but irreplaceable piece of Chevrolet's performance legacy. And perhaps now is the time to tell that story again. The story of a small engine that once ignited an entire era. The Chevy 283 wasn't loud or flashy, but that quiet nature gave it its own identity. It didn't need to be a horsepower king or a track legend, because just one moment hearing its crisp rumble, one time tuning its carb by hand, or simply spotting the 283 Turbo Fire badge on the block, you'd know the 283 wasn't just metal, it was memory, culture, a living piece of the golden age of American motoring. If you've ever owned one, built one, or even just heard one roar, share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss the next great car story.